Weekly update for Friday, April 6th. And we're starting off this week with a phone message from George Gatsis, the guy who made CerebusDownloads.com possible, the home of the $99 6,000-page complete Cerebus download. Take it away, George.
Hey Dave, it's Georgie. How you doing? I got a question for you. If I were to sell official Cerebus t-shirts and hoodies, and is there a specific artwork that you have in mind for that kind of stuff? If so, give me a call.
And the answer is no, I don't have any particular artwork in mind, but I am certainly amenable to anyone producing their own Cerebus t-shirt for their own use. And if anybody wants to go further than that and actually sell Cerebus t-shirts and hoodies and baseball caps or whatever else, the best thing is to send a sample of it to me and let me know how much it's going to cost for a Cerebus fan to get that t-shirt, including the shipping costs, and I will hold the t-shirt up or actually wear it instead of one of my gray hoodies on a future weekly update. So this has come up a couple of times, which is why I'm answering it here. Alfonso at Studio Comics Press at the Frederick Street Mall also asked the same thing. What about doing Cerebus t-shirts and selling them? If you think that you can sell enough Cerebus t-shirts to make it worthwhile printing up t-shirts and compensate Aardvark Vanaheim for the use of the image and Gerhard for the image, if it's got a Gerhard background with it, by all means, go ahead, give it a try. But I will definitely be giving a disclaimer. This is not me selling these t-shirts. This is this individual selling these t-shirts, and this is where you go to order your t-shirt, and all of your dealings from then on are with that individual. Okay, which makes a nice segue into the first auction item for this week, which is, you may have seen this on Moment of Cerebus a while back, Mary Gaitskill's collection of essays, Someone with a Little Hammer, where she wanted to use the image of Cerebus and the demon heads and skulls from the cover of Church and State Volume 2. And if she just wanted to go ahead and use it, that's always been my policy, that if it's for a creative use, it's all of the Cerebus imagery is in the public domain. You're going to know better than I am if the cover of your book needs to have an image of Cerebus on it. But this being the big leagues, she's got definitely major praise for Mary Gaitskill on the back cover from the New Yorker, New York Times Book Review, Book Forum, Chicago Tribune, the Boston Globe. Like I say, the big leagues, and the publishing company being Penguin Random House, which owns most of the known universe that Amazon hasn't bought up. Doing things by the book, wanted to license the cover, so I never say no to money. If you want to deface the cover of Church and State Volume 2 and do tear marks in it and stick little pictures on it, and you're willing to pay $400 US for that, to Aardvark Vanaheim, and $400 US to Gerhard, yeah, that's fine. It's if this is the only acknowledgement that we get from the real world, and this is the only acknowledgement that we seem to get from the real world. Hey, $400 US is $400 US. So they sent me 2 copies of the hardcover belatedly, And as you can see, I have signed in gold ink in the corner up there. And I think we can safely say that if this isn't a completely unique item, it's probably as close to a 1 out of 1 as you can get. The odds of my running across another copy of the book and somebody wanting it autographed and me having a gold pen on me at the time, I'm just not seeing it. So this is our first auction item. It's the hardcover of Someone with a Little Hammer, and it can be personalized if you want it personalized. I still got the gold pen. It's sitting right here, and I can write your name next to my signature if you prefer, or if you just want the signature on the first printing of the hardcover, we can just leave it as a signature. I'm actually mentioned right at the end of the acknowledgments. Impersonal but sincere and respectful thanks are due to David Sim for allowing the public to use his wonderful Cerebus the Aardvark imagery period quotes, which there's no other quotes in the acknowledgments, so that was interesting to me. Why are there quotation marks on the end of that? So impersonal but sincere and respectful thanks to Mary Gateskill and Penguin Random House for the $400 US. And that leads us to auction item number 2. When they sent me the 2 hardcovers, they also sent me 2 of the paperback edition, which I have also signed up here. And you get even less of the Church and State 2 cover on the paperback than you did on the hardcover. They changed pretty much the whole top of the design of the book, and we just got a little bit of the Church and State 2 cover at the bottom here. And we've got the Boston Globe, New York Times Book Review, Newsweek, and the New Yorker. So yeah, definitely big leagues literature stuff that we got here. And I think, again, this is probably a safe bet. This will be the only paperback copy of Someone with a Little Hammer that Dave Sim will ever sign. So if you want to get Mary Gateskill, who's obviously way up in the big leagues in modern literature, and you want a Dave Sim autograph on the front of her book, this is, I can pretty much guarantee you, the only place that you're going to get it. And same deal, if you want the paperback copy personalized to you, just let me know, and we'll write your first name on there to whoever Dave Sim in the same gold ink. And just to reiterate, if you're a creative person and you're doing a creative work, I have no problem with any of my intellectual property being used as a raw material in another creative work. All of the trade paperbacks say the same thing, that you're completely at liberty to use anything out of any of the Cerebus trade paperbacks as a raw material in your own creative work. If you think it has to be in there, as far as I'm concerned, that's all that really matters. So, moving on to our last auction piece for this week. Iron Manticore number 1, the Cerebus in Hell number 1 one-shot, and the second batch of 7 strips that I did last week. I'm going to have to tell this story really quickly because we're running out of time. I was wondering, why doesn't Jeff Seiler bid on the Cerebus in Hell strips? Jeff Seiler bids on just about everything that we've got. And I'm going, got to find some way to get Jeff Seiler to bid on this. So I went, oh, okay, I'll put the Kansas City Royals in it, because the Kansas City Royals is Jeff Seiler's favorite baseball team. So in last week's batch, when Cerebus was doing his razor wire hog tying Ophidian television show, again, we call them Ophidians, we don't call them snakes anymore. He had a trivia question: what Kansas City Royal pitcher holds the team record for most strikeouts in a playoff game? And I had no idea, of course, who that was, but obviously there's an answer to the question. And who better to answer it than Jeff Seiler? So I phoned Jeff and left a message and said, Jeff, I've got a teaser in Iron Manicore #1, which is which Kansas City Royal pitcher holds the team record for most strikeouts in a playoff game. Not championship game, playoff game. So if you can let me know that, I would really appreciate it. And then left it. And of course, Jeff phones back and he's laughing on the phone message and going, well, you know, you certainly found a way to get me up off of the couch. Jeff's got a bad hip and he spends a lot of time on the couch. But yeah, it worked a charm. It's Kansas City Royals, and he's up like a fire horse smelling smoke. And he's saying on the message, do you know the answer to this? It's like, of course I don't know the answer to this. I don't even read the sports section. I haven't read the sports section in 2.5 years. But I know that you will find out the answer to the question. And then I thought, this is one of those comic art metaphysics things too, I'll bet you. I'll bet you whenever that ball game took place is going to have some sort of pertinence in my own life. You just sort of know that that's going to happen. I think I'm asking a completely arbitrary question, but no, this was preordained from the dawn of the universe that this was going to hook up the way that it did. So Jeff Seiler gets back to me and he says, spoiler warning, if you consider this something that needs a spoiler warning. The Kansas City Royals pitcher that, as far as Jeff knows for certain, holds the major league record for most strikeouts by a Kansas City Royal pitcher is Dennis Leonard. He pitched 8 innings against the New York Yankees. I got this memorized now. Against the New York Yankees, October 7th, 1978. Complete eight inning game, and still lost because he gave up 2 solo home runs. That's gotta really bum you out. You hold the record for most strikeouts in a playoff game and you still lose to the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium. The comic art metaphysics part comes in because October 7th, 1978, what are the odds that I would know what I was doing October 7th, 1978? Huh? But I know exactly what I was doing October 7th, 1978. That was my first day of being married. Denny and I got married October 6th, so we were in Niagara Falls on our honeymoon. But really, like, come on, I come up with this completely arbitrary question as far as I know. Most strikeouts by a Kansas City Royal pitcher in a playoff game, and what does it turn out to be? The first day of my married life. So there you go. What are we at? 4:45. So that is included in this batch of strips. So I think it's pretty much a lock that I'm going to have Jeff Seiler bidding on it. And I'm also going to be having Michael R. of Easton, Pennsylvania bidding on it because he's got the most Iron Manticore strips of anybody so far. Anybody. Nobody has more Cerebus in Hell Iron Manticore strips than Michael R. of Easton, Pennsylvania. In second place is Jeff Seiler, who did win the auction for the, not last week's strips, but the week before that. So you talk about your head-to-head playoff game. We're going to be seeing Who gets this Iron Manticore #1 with the Kansas City Royals in it? Jeff Seiler or Michael R. of Easton, Pennsylvania? Gentlemen, start your engines. Thanks very much, and we will check you next week for the weekly update on April 13th, which will be Friday the 13th. See you then.